Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a while. Episode 3 of Life Perspective. So, it took me a little while to decide, and this one just kind of came to me. So, the series is called Life Perspective, and that's exactly what the topic is: perspective. Let me talk a little bit about what this series is about first. Life Perspective is my take from the experiences I've had so far in my life. My thoughts on different topics. So far, I've covered music and I have covered doing the right thing and being responsible. This one is about how you perceive things and how you react to them. Perception. So, what exactly is perception? Perception is how you view something based on what you know and your personal experience. Your personal experience is going to how do I word it? Your personal experience is going to have an impact on, hang on. The glare off my glasses is kind of throwing things off. So it's going to have an impact. So let me rewind a little bit. Your How you react emotionally, how you've seen things play out in the past, how you have reacted to things in the past, what we know to be true from our experience. All of these things are going to have a massive impact on how we perceive things. How one person perceives is different from another based on the experiences we have lived in our lives. For example, um, say you work in retail, an angry customer comes up. They're they seem like you can't fix the situation. You don't know how to handle the person. You yourself might know how to handle that person because you have helped them in the past. You know, after getting to know them, you know how they experience things, you know how they like things to be, and you know how their temperament can be. Now, this is just an example. All right, just bear with me here. I know I might seem like I'm rambling, but I got a point. I'm getting to it. Another person who may be taking care of that person another day would have no idea, and they are reacting accordingly. The difference between these two scenarios is the perception of the person that has dealt with that person and the perception of a person who has not dealt with that customer. Do you notice? Person A knows how to handle that customer because of their previous experience. Person B does not know how to handle that customer because they don't have experience with that customer. You see, it's all about perception. How you see a person and how you react is all about your perception of that scenario. Sorry, I'm holding my phone's not propped up this time. I'm kind of holding it. So when we go through life, we experience things from our time in the crib all the way up to the present day, to the moment you're watching this video, even. We live through things, we experience things. Things that make us happy, things that make us sad, things that make us upset, mistakes that we make, we learn from. These have a large impact on how we perceive certain situations, how we perceive people. Now, not everyone is going to perceive every situation the same. But people that do share a similar view, a similar viewpoint if you're if you and someone else have been through a similar situation, um and that person's having a bad day, or you're having a bad day because of something you've been through, you or that other person, depending on the scenario, are understanding and can approach and say, hey, what's going on? You know, how can I help? And then, just being there, how to approach that person because you have the same perception. You've lived a similar way, if not the same way. So you know how that person is, or that person knows how you are. Again, these are all just examples. So another good example of perception is it could be politics, it could be religion. People have different takes because of their perception. Depending on what you believe in. What you believe in has a huge hand in how you grow, how you're taught, and how you feel about a certain thing. You see, it's a lot more than what you just, perception is more than just what you see. It's how you feel, it's how you react, it's how you think. How you perceive things tells an awful lot about who you are. It shows who you are. It shows what you can learn and what people can take from you and what you can give to others. It's more than it comes. Responsibility is another form of perception. I believe in my last video, I used doing things because it's good, it's kind, it's decent. Why is it good? Why is it kind? And why is it decent? Why is that the perception? So, if you're staying late to help someone, or you're stepping in to help someone in a situation because it's kind, or because it's good, or because it's decent, your perception of that is that way for a reason. You look at things as being kind because either you see it as being kind because you were raised to believe that way, you have seen that things should be that way, or you truly believe things should be that way. That's how you perceive it. So that's how you show it. And don't get me wrong, perception is a powerful, powerful, absolutely powerful thing to have. Unfortunately, perception is also an absolutely terrible thing to have at the same time for the exact same reason. We've talked about the good parts of perception. Let's talk about the bad. Self-perception is the best example I can give, both good and bad. It's like you flip a coin. You got heads, you got tails. You got the good, you got the bad. Let me ask you this question, and please really think about this. I'll even give you a moment as I let you think about it before I continue. When you look in the mirror, how do you perceive yourself? What are your honest thoughts about you? How do you think you are living? Are you living the best way that you possibly could? Are you treating people the best way you could possibly treat them? Are you being as good to yourself as you could be? Are you being as kind to others as you could be? Are you spending your money wisely? Have you lived a good life? What do you plan to do with your future? Self-perception. Think about that. How do you perceive yourself and your actions? Think about that for a moment. So, Having given it some thought, is your perception good? Is your perception bad? If it's good, tell yourself that how you perceive yourself is good. Look in the mirror every morning and remind yourself of those good things. Remind yourself that you perceive yourself in a good light for these reasons. When you're having a bad day, remember these are the reasons you are a good person. On the flip side, why do you perceive yourself in a negative way? Why do you think that? What could you do to change that perception of yourself? Are you blaming yourself for something that you yourself have done, be it on accident or not? Do you feel some measure of guilt? Is that why you hold a negative perception of yourself? How can we move past that perception to improve who we are and who we can become? Really think about that. If you hold a negative perception of yourself, only you can change that perception. Only you. People can give you compliments all day, every day, but it will not improve your perception of yourself. Only you can do that. Confidence is key. Overconfidence is very dangerous. If you are overconfident in yourself, it changes your perception. Absolutely. But if you're overconfident in something, your perception can go so far off. You start making bad choices. And those bad choices, if you have a conscience, can give you a very bad perception of yourself. And then you end up in a not so good headspace. So you got to rein yourself back in and you've got to really think, why do I perceive myself this way? So again, good perception, bad perception. When you have the bad perception, question yourself. How can I change this about myself? What do I need to work on? Do I treat certain people a certain way? Does this make me feel bad about myself? Look at that. Really think about the perception of yourself. You can change how you view certain things, but you can only change your perception, no one else's. If you change your perception, you can change so many things about yourself. Your perception is the building blocks to how you react and how you think. You react in your mind, and you react physically, and you react emotionally. Perception, again, is a superpower. Perception is simultaneously also a curse. But perception is what you make of it. This is what life perspective is about. It's about me sharing my thoughts, my perspective from my experience. So I don't always have the best perspective of myself. And I 100% admit that. I own that. I am doing what I know I can do to change my own negative perceptions of myself. And one of those many things is I have made many mistakes to get to the point I'm at today. I perceive myself as someone that has learned. I perceive myself as someone who can pass on what I have learned from the mistakes I have made to others so they don't have to go through some of the things that I myself have gone through. I'm not a perfect man. I never claim to be. I don't pretend to be. I know I can be a good man. I know I'm capable of being a bad man. I refuse to let my perspective get to a point where I make bad decisions based on small things out of my control. And that tends to be where a lot of the bad decisions I tend to make come from. I have come a long way in the past 10 years because I have learned to view from my perspective, step out of my own box, so to speak. So we all have boxes. Okay, let me break something else down. So your world is your box. Okay? Step outside of your box. Look at everything that you know. How do you live your life? How do you treat others? How do you treat yourself? Like I said, the good perspective and the bad perspective, the two sides of the coin. When you really step outside and you look at everything, not just the things you want to see, look at the things you don't want to see. Let that change your perspective. Let that teach you about yourself. Let it teach you what you want to fix about yourself. Your experiences make you who you are. They allow you to see things a different way than you ever could have before. There's a saying, open your eyes and you can see the world. Yes. You can quite literally open your eyes and you can see everything out there. I mean, I'm looking out my window right now and I see trees. It's not what it means. What it means. Let me give you an insight to my perspective. This is 10 years of pain, mistakes, and regret. Let me show you my perspective. I grew up angry. I went through so many things the past 10 years. I had been kicked out of my family home a few times. I have been accused of many things I have never done. I've had things thrown at me. I've been bullied. Everyone's been bullied, but you get my point. I had been married only for that person to turn around and be with everyone besides myself. I've had friendships that turned sour. I have had friends become enemies. I've had enemies become friends. I've learned of different creeds and religions. I've met people from other countries. I've spoken to people states away. I have forged friendships that have stood the test of time. I have met and become friends with people of different beliefs. You know what that has taught me? After I have stepped outside of my own box, and I have learned that I myself have been a toxic person in the past, I grew from it. I learned from it. I learned how to be, how not to be, who I am and who I am not. I opened my eyes. I learned the world, while it is cruel, while it is cold, on the flip side of it, the world is full of good people. The world is filled with caring people. The world is filled with people of many creeds, races, religions. It is filled with people who want to make the world a good place. It is filled with people who want to coexist, despite religion, sexual orientation, political stance. People want to get along. The world is a tapestry of colors, shapes. Instead of hating each other's differences, I have learned that we can accept them. We can choose to become part of that. Hate should never be a choice. Kindness should always be the way we go. I didn't always choose kindness. I didn't always choose love. There are friendships I myself ruined, and that is my burden alone. But I have learned from that. I have learned who I am, who I want to be. I've learned the world can be a beautiful place, and I want to contribute to it in the best way that I can. I am just one person. I am one flawed person with experience. I'm not a bad man. I'm not a great man. I'm just a man. I'm a man that has experienced, and I want to share my experience. This is only the third video of I hope to be many. If you are watching this, if you have made bad choices, it's not too late to learn from them. If you are a good person and you are watching this video, show kindness. Share that goodness. You don't know whose life you can touch. You don't know how much impact you can make. The smallest act of giving someone $1, buying someone dinner, getting a cab for someone, giving your friend a hug. You don't know how much of a difference that's going to make. We don't know who's going to be here today. We don't know who's going to be here tomorrow. And most importantly, we don't know how long we are to be here. With our perception, we can learn. With our perception, we can teach. We can pass on what we know. We can take our bad experiences. We can grow. We can teach the next generation. We can teach everyone. We can make the world a good place. It's not too late. It is never too late to change your perspective. It is never too late to make a good impact. We don't know how much time we have on this earth. We don't know when our last words will be. We don't know what they will be. We don't know whose stories we'll cross, whose lives we'll touch. We need to make the best of what we have today. We need to touch as many hearts as we can while we can. Your perception only lets you be who you are, and only you can change that. I hope this video means something, because every one of these, it's not rehearsed. It's not written down on some board behind my phone. I don't record in front of anyone. This is my way of sharing what I know, because I can. I don't know how long I'm going to be on this earth. I don't know how much time I have left. I want to pass on what I know while I can. So maybe one day, these videos will make a difference in someone's life. I hope that in time, people have come to learn about themselves and better themselves for the world, for the people they love, and most importantly, for themselves. Perception can be a beautiful thing, a powerful thing. Use it. It can open up a bigger world than you would have ever dreamed. Until the next video, be good to yourselves. Be kind to each other. And please, be kind to all. Have a great day.